It's been actually quite a long time since I've done one of these. So I'm gonna see if I can get this done before I have to go to work. It is a work night for me. And really, it's not even that serious of a video. It's just stuff that has stood out to me. I'm watching a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's FNaF playthroughs and theory videos because I am hosting an event at Dragon Con that's going to be FNaF themed, and I just need to be as well armed with information as I can be, because these kids that are going to come to this party are going to know everything about everything. I've even been I've even been getting books. I managed to get the Five Nights at Freddy's official character encyclopedia, which I already have opinions on because there's already a few things that are very noticeably missing from this, like specific characters that we've had a lot of interaction with. Not in here. And then literally just like 20 minutes ago, this was dropped off. It's the Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Guide. I believe this is the third one. And this is a pretty thick book. Ultimate Custom Night. Lauren. Interesting. Okay. Well, this is the Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Guide. So I've been reading those and I've been watching a lot of videos, just so I don't look like that Steve Buscemi meme when I walk into these parties with all these kids. And I'm like, hey there, fellow kids. You like some of the FNaF? But some things have popped out as just not quite right. They stand out because how did nobody think of this? You know, what's going on with this? I do want to add, most of these are actually really silly. Like, I'm not like, oh, you know, we're not doing like serious lore hunting. It's just silly stuff that I notice. So the first one, and this one hit me yesterday. I'm doing them in the order that they hit me. I'm not doing them in any particular game order because some of them might not necessarily have a specific game that they're attached to. But the one that stood out to me, yes, I do eyeshadow with my fingers sometimes. The one that stood out to me is I was watching a playthrough of Sister Location. And if you're watching this and you know what FNaF is, you probably know what room I'm talking about. It's the secret room that you're not supposed to find, that you get fired for finding, but you're stuck there. And so you basically play a traditional night of Five Nights at Freddy's with, you know, editors trying to get to you, and you have limited power, and you have doors and events, you know, but the power drains so quickly that the cameras are only going to do you so much good because they die so fast. So a lot of the players that I've watched play this wind up, in order to conserve sound, conserve power, they wind up going almost entirely on sound to figure out where Ennard is. And Ennard is pretty loud. Like, there are squeaks and squonks and like talking with baby's voice about like, oh, you know, don't you like me? I thought you liked me. Don't you trust me? Girl, no, I do not trust you for shit. The minute you put me in that Springlock suit, I was done. I knew that we were in trouble, trust-wise. And a lot of times the person who does it is actually relatively successful when they go by sound. Why is that not really a mechanic in other games, though? Like, there are, especially like vents, like you can hear sometimes the animatronics making noise in the vents, but it's not as reliable as a game mechanic, and they're not as loud. Like, Ennard is loud. Like, why are the noise levels inconsistent in this, I guess? And I know when he put the first game together, he wasn't thinking about all this. He didn't think it was going to be a game series, but like, it's just, the difference in noise levels to me has always been comical. I have all kinds of eyeshadow fallout under my eyes. It's fine. I have plenty of stuff for it. Why? And again, if you know the answer to this, please tell me, because I would love to be in the know. If you are playing as Michael Afton in 3, why is Springtrap trying to kill you? Like, why is he trying to kill his own son? Like, is he afraid that you're gonna like turn him into the police and expose him? That's the minute I found out that you're supposed to play as Michael Afton, that was the first thing that popped in my head is, why is your dad trying to kill you? God, this makeup is such a mess. Like, that never made sense to me, at least without an explanation. Like, there could be a perfectly good explanation. I don't know what it is. If you do know what it is, please tell me so I stop sounding stupid. So this next one is funny. Funny is a bad word. It's funny to me, though, because I have a teeth thing. And I know there's a specific phobia for that. But I am weirded out when something has too many teeth. Or especially if there's too many sharp teeth. So why do the non-nightmare animatronics have so many teeth? Like, the nightmares, I absolutely understand. They're nightmares. They're supposed to be as scary as possible. That's Lucy in the background. But why do the animatronics in FNaF 1 have so many teeth? I understand that one of the rows of teeth is the endoskeleton, but why do the endoskeleton need teeth? Like, there's that image of Chica attacking you with her mouth open and she has multiple rows of teeth. First of all, she is a chicken. Second of all, why... I don't understand why they have multiple rows of teeth. I don't... If that's a specific design thing, again, let me know. But every time I watch playthroughs, I'm just like... Because I have a tooth thing. I love sharks. When they open their mouths, though, it freaks me out a little bit. This next one is funny to me because I haven't been in the situation personally, but I've been in the situation where another person has been in the situation, if that makes sense. And that is, why does it take Mike Schmidt so long to get fired for odor? And when I say that, I have worked with, oh my God, I don't remember his name. I just always called him Stinky McDickhead because you could literally tell that he was at work when he walked in the door, even if you were in the back room. Like, the smell would waft. And within like 2 days, the managers were like, here's deodorant. You need to wear the deodorant because this is unprofessional. So I get that getting fired for odor is a possible thing, but why does it take him so long to get fired for odor? I cut that last clip a little bit short, but I'm not retaping it. I actually am getting ready for work, so I do have time constraints here. So the next thing that kind of struck me, and it was only, I've literally been binge watching these gameplay. That's Lucy, oh, baby girl. I've been binge watching over and over and over and over again in between homework assignments. So why, and two, one of the phone calls you get from phone guy is surprised that you're there. He's like, oh, didn't you get the memo? The place is locked down, at least for a while. Was there no signage? Nobody put a sign on the door that said, hey, we're closed temporarily. Like, nobody told this guy, like, hey, don't come to work. Every time that I worked a job where we were going to be closed for a day or a couple of days, we knew ahead of time. I've never shown up to my job on accident, not knowing that we were closed that day or for a couple of days. Why? How did this situation happen? And then when you walk in the door, how do you walk in the door? Do you have keys? Do their security guys have keys? When you walk in the door and there's nobody there, nothing strikes you as wrong. Like, you have to find out from this guy sending you a phone call. Oh, I wonder if the phone call is an earlier... I didn't think about that. See, this is why it helps for me to talk it out. I bet, but then why would he record the message? I bet the recorded message was from somebody who worked there like months before, because it does talk about your summer job, even though it's November. But why would you record a phone call calling in that a place is closed, knowing that the place wouldn't be closed later? See, these are just things that don't make any sense to me. It has to be an old recorded call. But again, why would you send that to a future employee? Like, why would you not cut that out or re-record something? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Please make it make sense. I'm trying a new eyeliner. It is, I wanted a new mascara because mine is getting old. If you don't know, in case you don't know, makeup does expire. Makeup will actually tell you when it's, of course this doesn't fucking say. But a lot of the times on the packaging, the makeup will have, it must be, of course it's on all the boxes, but makeup on the box will tell you. It'll have a, like a little picture of like a jar, and it'll have a number next to it. And that number is how many months you can go without having to replace it. Okay, so here's a great example. I don't know if you're gonna see this, but see how there's like that little jar right there that looks like an open-lidded jar? That is how long this makeup is good for, because makeup gets full of bacteria. Ingredients of it can actually go bad. So this, for example, says 6M. So that means after 6 months, I should replace this. Now, do I stick to those? A lot of the times, no. Especially if it's something expensive, it's probably going to be better quality. And I also don't want to replace, like, this, like, the Fenty Beauty foundation is like $40. I'm not replacing that till it's done. But I feel obligated to tell you that you have to look for that little pot and see, kind of a ballpark for how long that medicine is good for. Medicine? I just said medicine. Makeup. How long that makeup is good for. Though you should also pay attention to your medication expiration dates. Go, you know what? When this video is over, go check your expiration dates. So I'm trying a new eyeliner and new mascara. These have really good ratings on Amazon, like 10,000 plus positive ratings. It's the Sky High Lash Sensational. And it came with like a duo pack with the Hyper Easy Brush Tip Liner. I'm not confident in the liner. I'm confident in the mascara, but not the liner. Mostly just because I'm not confident with liner in general. Okay, the tip is nice and stiff. So, okay. I do see why they call it Hyper Easy. It is actually going on super easy, super smooth. The tip is stiff enough so you have control. You have better control over it. Like, it's really hard to do a point with some eyeliner brushes. Like when you do your wings, it's hard to make sure it's pointy. I have really terrible lighting on my face, so it's like hard to see. Oh, I'm going to show you a trick to get rid of that. So whenever you do that, don't immediately rub it off. Let it dry. Like, because if you immediately rub it, it's going to just smear everywhere. It's still going to smear a little bit, but... but the idea is if you let it dry, you can kind of like scratch it off. And then I'll just put the makeup over it. I'll put a little bit of makeup over it to disguise it. So we're gonna do this eye. What was I talking? I was talking about... This is my biggest pet peeve about the entire FNaF franchise. And it's so funny to listen to people who talk about FNaF and just how wildly different their pet peeves regarding the franchise is, but this one really gets me. I have GI issues, which is super gross, but those of you who know me know that I had to have part of my intestines removed when I was a toddler because I had a rupture. And basically, if I didn't get the damaged part of my intestines out, I was probably gonna die. I've almost died twice, so I am proof that crazy doesn't die. But we are supposed to believe that the events of FNaF 3, so the Fazbear Frights location, we're supposed to believe that that takes place 30 years after the events of the first game, which is fine. I actually kind of like that the franchise covers quite a wide distance of time. I totally get it, and I appreciate that. Why, in God's name, and I'm not a religious person, but why in God's name, see how you can just kind of like scratch it off? Why in God's name can nobody smell William Afton's filth? And what I say is he's walled in the secret room. We're supposed to believe he's walled in the secret room for 30 years. I'm sure that the way he physically survived it is that he's not completely human. Like, so food and stuff probably aren't concerns that we have to, worry about and get technical about. Like, he's probably doesn't have to eat. You cannot tell me that there is no sort of filth that would ooze out of this room, whether it's sweat or fecal matter or urine. Like, how was he in a room for 30 years and nobody was like, what is this smell? Why is this room smells horrible? They did it with the kids. Everyone noticed that the animatronics smelled. But how did you know? I'm looking for a very specific makeup brush and I can't find it. How did nobody smell this man? Like, I understand that the restaurant wasn't open for 30 years. Also, another question. I want to know about these builders that walled this guy in. Did nobody notice that there was a literal human being? There was literally a human being in this room that you're walling in. Did Henry pay enough money for them to ignore it? Like, I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but did he just pay him an exorbitant amount of money to, like, cover up a crime? Because I don't care what your views on murder are. Walling somebody in who has extensive bodily injuries and walling them in without and knowing how long they're going to get walled in for, that's kind of sketch. I totally understand why he did it. William Afton needed to be stopped. But when it comes down to it, he still walled a man in, probably knowing that the man was likely to die. So I want to know, did he have him covered or something? Like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess you wouldn't have to do much to wall in the room, but you can't hear somebody shaking inside, like twitching and spasming. I don't know. I feel like somebody would have to know, because even if it didn't take that long of a job, it's still going to take probably a couple of days. And nobody noticed that this yellow suit was moving. There's blood around it. Okay. So, I kind of covered this on my, I don't like this brush. This is one of those brushes that's going to be easy to bend. And this is really a pet peeve of mine. So according to the last timeline I watched, William Afton is probably older than I originally hypothesized. I think I hypothesized that, I have my little cheat cards here. Just go somewhere. I think I figured out that William would have to be at least 72 years old in 2023. But now it's looking like we may have another 20 years on that. Like, I'm seeing 1930s. Which adds, we'll go with 15 years. 72 plus 15 is 97 years old. 97 years old. I am supposed to believe that in FNaF 3, there is a 97-year-old man, and I understand he's done work and experiments, so he's not completely human, but I'm supposed to believe a 97-year-old man is in this in this spring suit, just chasing me around. I mean, I'm not super... I have really short eyelashes, so it takes a lot for a mascara to impress me. I do like that it's easy to get on the inside of my eye, which is always complicated. Like, I had a Makeup Revolution mascara that I really liked, but it was really hard to get. Like, see in this inside corner? I don't know if it's because this brush is smaller. Because this is... I normally don't like this kind of brush. Wait, where it's like the super thin compared to... I'll show you my last mascara's brush. Like these two compared, you can see there's a big difference between the two. I need a new mascara anyway. This was a 12-month mascara, as you can tell by the lid. See the little lid container. I know you can't tell that it says 12 months. This is 12 months. Mascara I do try to be good about, because you get so much bacteria in your mascara that it just can grow. So if there's something that you're going to be good about sticking to, I guess the rebuy dates, disposal dates, mascara is probably the one that you want to stick to. Just because your eye is so sensitive. Your eye is such a sensitive pH. It doesn't really have... It's not like other parts of your body that can kind of defend themselves. Like your eye has eyebrows and eyelashes to protect it. So if you're putting something on the brow or eyelash that is full of bacteria, you might as well just stick your hand straight into a petri dish and just cram it in your eye. Okay, so I mean, I'm not like super impressed with this, but it was cheap. I think it was $20 for... It was less than $20 for the mascara and the liner. There goes Lucy looking at herself in the background. I put on fake lashes anyway, but I still like my eyelashes to look nice underneath the lashes. Lucy, Jesus. Baby girl. You know I love you, right? You want a bath tomorrow? Sunday? We'll do Sunday, okay? She's in the back. She's starting to get itchy again. But yeah, how did this man's foulness go unnoticed for 30 years? I understand, like, maybe the last, 15 or whatever were closed. I mean, I guess it could have been closed the entire 30 years. But nobody filed a missing persons report on William. Like, nobody. When did Michael find out that all this was going on? Did he go through a period of time where he just didn't know where his dad was? It's the whole, there's got to be something there that we're going to find out about, like maybe in the movie. I just don't understand how nobody except for Henry knew where this man was or knew that he was missing. I had to step away to do my eyebrows. If you've ever seen any of my videos, you know that I'm physically incapable of doing eyebrows by myself without a stencil. So I always have like these weird exaggerated, I don't even want to call them goth eyebrows, but they're so obviously drawn on. I don't care. I'm not here to do like super like bridal natural makeup. Like this is as good as it gets. But then this one is also kind of a pet peeve of mine. Although I have to say, out of all of the things that I'm going to complain about in this video, this probably has the easiest solution. So we know that William sneaks into locations to be a suit tech or a, security guard or whatever, which is, I mean, it's fine from a serial killer standpoint. It's something that has a uniform. People inherently trust uniforms. But you mean to tell me nobody recognized him when he came in for like the first time. Like, I know, yeah, at some point he's turned away because he's like under suspicion. But this guy walks in to be a suit tech or a security guard, and nobody's like, oh, that's so-and-so. They have no idea who this guy is. And even then, when he's under suspicion, the guy's like, oh, don't make this harder than it has to be. In the Midnight Motorist game. He's like, oh, don't make this harder than it has to be. Why aren't you calling the police? Like, if you are denying him entry because you really think that he is part of this, why are you not calling the police? And the reason I say that, I'm kind of biased. We have a woman where I work who has assaulted me. Her ex goes there and she's stalking him. Like, she's a problem. She's a real problem. And fun fact, at least in the state of Florida, you cannot trespass somebody until you've asked them to leave. So you have to let them into the building physically to get somebody trespassed, which I understand. So I totally get if they would let him in to do that. But instead the guy's like, oh, well, you know, don't make this difficult, whatever. If the woman who assaults me ever shows up, we're going to have the Ybor police number pulled up on our phones, the non-emergency, of course, so quickly. We're not just going to be like, oh, you can't come in. So I don't understand how they know enough about him to turn him away, but they're not, like, trying to get police involved or anything like that. Granted, we don't have a whole lot of information about what the police investigation aspect of all this is. But we do know he walks up to a place. It's a place called Junior's to show that it's a newer location. He walks up to Junior's and they're like, no, you can't come in. Because you're a sketchy motherfucker. Like, there's no police called. And instead he passive aggressively kills somebody outside. Outside! Right outside. First of all, what kind of security cameras do you have? Because we know that you have security cameras because we're supposed to watch them. You don't have any outside. You don't have a single security camera outside that catches what he does. And then he goes home, and gets mad. There's so much of this that doesn't make sense. And I know, at least Matt Pat mentions that there's blatant crime scene tampering in one of the books. So, I mean, I understand today on It's Just Video Game, or today it's just a young adult, a YA horror novel. If you really think someone is potentially murdering children, why are you just gonna be like, oh, don't make this harder than it is? It's not like a drunk that's getting turned away that you don't want to deal with. This is a potential child murderer. And I know I've already mentioned this, but I feel like it needs repeating. How is an 80 to 90-year-old man so spry? Like, what kind of... I know he's been, conducting experiments on animatronics and stuff like that. And I guess he says he is one or whatever. How is he so spry? How is he so spry that he's actually, like, a legitimate threat? Anybody? Does anybody have an answer to this? Did I overlook this? Lucy has decided that she's tired of not getting attention. So she has decided to sit just in the corner so everyone can see her. That's Lucy. Lucille Elvira, Mistress of the Bark. She has an Instagram. She's so mad with me because I wouldn't let her eat cheesecake. I wouldn't let her eat chocolate cheesecake. And she's mad. She's big mad at me right now. So I guess she's just going to be in the background of the video for the rest of the video. I'm trying to put my eyelash on. So I kind of already mentioned this, but I do want to specifically read something from this Ultimate Guidebook. And I kind of mentioned it when I was upset that nobody recognized William. And I talked about how he was turned away, blah, 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 blah. But I have kind of further thoughts on that. And so to help me with that, I'm going to read the text from one of the newspaper articles that's in the background. Okay. It says keep in mind, 2 local children were reportedly lured into a back room during the late hours of operation at a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza on the night of June 26th, while video surveillance identified the man responsible and led to his capture the following morning. The children themselves were never found and are presumed dead. Police think that the suspect dressed as a company mascot to earn the children's trust. It's gonna be a great night at work. So I want to, was William arrested and they let him go? I mean, if you have surveillance footage, that means I guess you could kind of dispute it if it was grainy camera. But, like, was it him that was arrested? Why was he let go? Was there just not enough proof? They only had the surveillance footage. And because he's in... Murtaugh's gonna bark. And because he's in a character suit, like, they can't prove that it's him. Plausible deniability, I guess. Or was it somebody else who was arrested? Like, was it, like, Chad or somebody that got arrested mistakenly? If so, is he still in jail? Did he get let go? Like, why was he arrested? Does he look like... I have so many questions as far as the amount of police activity or lack of police activity. Like, I just really feel like from all the stuff that I've written that the cops don't actually care that much, which could really lead to some deep conspiracy theory thinking. Like, does William have them paid off? Is that why he was let go? Did he bribe them? Like, are we bribing the police of whatever town in Utah this is? I don't know that it's Utah. I just know Utah keeps coming up. Someone's gonna say Utah. Like, are they? What is going on? What the fuck is going on with all this? The only really what I keep coming back to is that there's got to be something. It had to have been like the wrong guy, because there was only 2. It mentions 2, and I don't know that there's ever only 2 children that go missing at a time. I think it's always like groups of like 5 or 6. Right? 5 or 6? I don't know. My phone fell forward. It's literally, I don't know if you can tell, it's literally on a drink carrier. Because all my stands and stuff are at home. So this popped into my head right before I started shooting this. And I've been kind of like in between takes. I've been kind of mulling it in the back of my mind to figure out, like, oh, there's got to be something like really obvious that I'm missing, right? There has to be. And it goes to, I'm gonna open the ultimate guide and I'm gonna read the specific line. Because I don't want to misquote it, because there's 2 lines of this quote that have been driving me crazy. And what's funny is it really only started, oh my God, this last binge watch of a couple of theories. Wrong one. Sister location. Okay. I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to say anything before I'm just going to read it and let you mull it over. This is what he says after you beat all of the nights. So you have to beat 9 nights. And you get cutscenes, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, if you defeat the Golden Freddy custom night and unlock something earth-shattering, you get a message. And this is the message. Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. Right here. It was right where you said it would be. How? When? How did William Afton tell Michael where Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals was going to be? Did he like leave something like a faux will, maybe like, hey, you know, read this when you hit a certain age, or I don't know, left him a voice message, or how did Michael find out where the place was from William, if William has been like mortared into a room for 30 years? And the only reason I say 30 years is because we do see Springtrap at the end of that monologue. We see Springtrap step forward. And you can tell Fazbear Frights is already burned to the ground. So it has to be at least 2023 when this exchange is going on. And what's driving me crazy, and I don't like this, and I don't like this theory at all, is what if he's not talking to William at all? What if he's talking to Henry? I'm gonna come find you. Henry's the one who puts the fake pizzeria together for FNaF 6, for the pizzeria simulator. What if Michael is Henry's son? And the only reason I'm giving that any thought... Oh, I just knocked all my makeup brushes down. I got most of them. The only reason I'm giving it any thought is because one of the dog's air tags is going off. It does that randomly when it's near a phone it's not attached to. So like I have an iPhone, so it's actually setting off the Apple tag right now. The only reason I give this any credit is because of this book. And there is more. The biggest doozy of this book is who's not here. Okay, so the book is done by characters. So like here we have, this is mostly Freddy's. There are a few Bonnies down here. Bonnies, Chicas, Foxy, Puppet, Balloon Boy, Endos, Springtraps, Plush Traps, Baby, Ballora, the Bitty Babs, Mangle. I don't know why Mangle and Foxy are separate, but whatever. Little things like, oh, the Mediocre Melodies, but they each have their own page too. The Glamrocks, and other Security Breach characters. Miscellaneous sister location things, so like Hand Unit, the Human Heads. And so this right here is where we get into like the humanoid characters. So I'm going to read you a list and tell me who's missing from this. William Afton. Burn Trap. I don't know why Burn Trap is not over with the traps, the spring traps. The Blob. The Crying Child. We still don't have a fucking name for this kid. We still don't have a name for his kid. Elizabeth Afton. Charlotte Emily. Henry, no last name. Vanessa/Vanny, no last name. Gregory, no last name. And I want to draw attention to something. With all of the lists of characters are the same length. Like those are the same length as the C's are the same length. And there's literally a space here. It's not like they ran out of room. They didn't have room for Michael. They deliberately left a blank space where it looks very obviously that it was formatted for another name there. What if they didn't put Michael in that book because they didn't want to blow it wide open that he's not an Afton? And I really don't like the Michael as Michael Emily. I really don't like that. I don't like that at all. But and I want to say as a follow-up to that, I didn't want to put it in with the same clip because I didn't want it to be like part of the same topic. We do know from the books, and I know how much people hate when you talk about books because God forbid anyone should have to read. But there is a mention of William Afton having journals. So the only thing I can think of is that somehow Michael got a hold of the journals and he saw that there was a journal entry about Circus Baby Pizza and Rentals. But I still don't know if I like that as the explanation for that. I actually really don't like that as the explanation for that, but when I make an award-winning popular video game and book set, I guess I can have it end how I want. I'm so glad I switched finishing sprays. I was using a setting spray, whatever. I was using a MAC one that I really like, but it clogs the sprayer really easily. And then I lost it, and I was like, oh no, an excuse to get the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Matte. I love it. This is my favorite setting spray of all time. No. Oh, she's gonna start. Again, this is something that could have been answered and I just am not aware of it. But I just think it's rather odd that he's not in the book that's supposed to have all these answers. He's not. There is something in the character encyclopedia that drives me crazy. So, as far as I know, and this is legitimately me asking for help. I'm going to open it to the William Afton page. And there's something that is bothering me. And I know there's probably a simple explanation and I'm just tired and not thinking of it. But all of these characters, it says like what games they're in. Okay, so Sun and Moon. It says that they're in Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Springtrap. It says Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, blah, 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 blah. Dark Springtrap is in Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. Oh, okay. I was like, what? No, apparently Dark Springtrap is the name for, yeah. Plus Trap. He's in FNaF 4, Custom Night, Help Wanted, AR, Security Breach. Okay. But William Afton, it's 206. It says he has obviously a lengthy list of appearances. Can someone tell me why he's listed as appearing in the first game, though? Is he in the mini game and I'm just like not remembering it? Were there even mini games in the first game? It's been a really long time since I watched it. But that's just driving me crazy. What do I know? There's probably I probably just completely blanked out. I haven't watched FNaF 1 playthrough in a while. And I'm sure that it's just me forgetting that. But yeah, those are my primary, just things that I think about sitting around. I have no life. I'm just gonna look so bad with my hair. I don't care. Also, before anyone asks me, this is actually a knockoff Jeffree Star. It's a Chinese knockoff. I don't actually support him. This is not a pro JS page. We don't like him here. But he has great colors. So I will buy all of the knockoffs. So yeah, those are my main complaints. I don't mean them as complaints like grumble. Just shit that I think about, like when I'm watching the theory videos and everything, and I'm like, wait, what the things that make you kind of stop and go, they're great games. I'm not putting down the games. There's just stuff that I need to know. There's stuff that like I said, there's probably easy answers and I just don't realize that they're out there. I took a big break from FNaF. I had kind of a weird relationship with FNaF after PewDiePie got outed, and Markiplier was like super supportive of him and like, oh, you know, you just stand up for what you believe in, which he's of course since dialed back. But I just, for a while, I resented Five Nights at Freddy's, and now it's fun again. Like I'm cosplaying it from again. Matthew Lillard, who we all know was cast as Purple Guy. He's going to be at MegaCon, and my boyfriend kind of wants to go to MegaCon because he wants to see Christina Ricci. And I think Gates McFadden, and I want to see Gwendolyn Christie, though she's not going to be there on Sunday. We would have to go on Sunday. And I want to get a picture with Matthew Lillard in a FNaF costume. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to just wear Glamour Chica again, because I already have her. She's already done. I don't have to make anything for her. Or if I'm going to make a puppet costume to get a picture with Purple Guy. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Meanwhile, I have half an hour before I have to leave for work. So I'm going to finish slapping on my face, and I will see you in probably a couple of weeks. My next video is going to quite probably be more of the stories behind Disney Tales. I don't know. It'll probably be... there's a Mass Effect video that I want to do too. I'll figure it out. Bye.